Okay, so, we asked for it, and boy, did you all deliver. Our inboxes are overflowing with articles about Ghana's political scene, and man, it's a lot.
It is.
So we've got, economic troubles, investigations into the election itself, even religious leaders chiming in.
Yeah.
It's
seems like a powder keg.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, thanks for sending these in. This is exactly the kind of stuff we love to deep dive into.
Absolutely. And I think it speaks to kind of a global anxiety right now.
So for sure.
About, the future of democracy, about economic stability.
Yeah.
These are some pretty big issues we're seeing play out.
Yeah, and Ghana's kind of right at the center of it right now.
Yeah, it really seems to be almost like a microcosm of these global struggles.
Right, exactly. So let's get into it. Ghana just had this election, right?
Right.
And now there's this oral team that keep coming up.
Right.
Investigating alleged irregularities. But at the same time, the economy is struggling and folks are feeling the pinch.
Yeah, people are definitely feeling the pressure. The cost of living is rising, and the value of the Ghanaian cedi, their currency, it's really weak against the dollar.
Yeah, and so it's like, what do you prioritize? Right? Do you focus on making sure the election was fair, or do you try to fix the economy?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And this quote that we got from Rev Bempah, I think, really kind of gets to the heart of that. He said, and I'm quoting here, "We voted for you to bring the dollar down, not to chase people."
Yeah, powerful statement, right?
It is.
I mean, you can really feel the frustration there. People are saying, look, we're struggling to put food on the table. We need economic stability. That's the priority.
So how do you see this quote kind of reflecting the sentiment on the ground there?
Well, I think it really speaks to this feeling among a lot of Ghanaians that the government needs to be focused on bread and butter issues.
Right.
Like bringing down inflation, stabilizing the currency.
The cedi.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And they see these investigations into the election as a distraction from that.
Okay. So tell us a little more about this oral team. What exactly are they doing?
Well, they're essentially a commission tasked with investigating all these allegations of irregularities in the election. Things like voter fraud or intimidation tactics, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And they're supposed to be, impartial and independent.
Right.
But it's definitely a controversial thing. The opposition parties are strongly in favor of it. They see it as a way to ensure the, integrity of the democratic process. But critics argue that it's just a way to, discredit the current government.
Right.
And that the resources would be better spent on addressing the economic crisis.
So it sounds like there's not really a clear consensus on
no, not at all.
Whether this is, a worthwhile endeavor.
It's very divisive.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what makes this whole situation so tense.
Yeah.
You have these two really important issues, accountability and economic stability, and they're kind of at odds with each other.
Totally. And, it's interesting because we see the same kind of tension playing out in other countries, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This isn't unique to Ghana at all.
Right.
I mean, look at, any country that's dealing with economic hardship. There's always this question of how much emphasis to put on, uncovering past wrongs versus dealing with present needs.
Yeah. It's like a fundamental dilemma of governance almost.
Yeah, it really is. And there's no easy answer. It's a balancing act. And I think it's one that every leader has to grapple with.
So what do you think the, long-term implications of all this are for Ghana?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but I think it's safe to say that the outcome of this oral team investigation is going to have a major impact on the country's political landscape. If they find evidence of widespread fraud, it could lead to calls for new elections or even, some kind of political upheaval.
Right.
But if they don't find anything, it could actually strengthen the current government's position.
Interesting. So it's kind of a high-stakes game for everybody involved.
Oh, absolutely. And then, of course, you have the economic situation looming over everything.
Yeah.
If the government can't get a handle on inflation and stabilize the cedi,
right,
people's frustration could boil over no matter what happens with the oral team.
It's like all these factors are kind of intertwined.
Exactly. It's a very complex situation.
So where do you think things go from here?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
I think the next few months are going to be crucial. We're going to see how the oral team's investigation unfolds, how the government responds to the economic pressures, and how the Ghanaian people react to all of it.
Yeah. It's going to be fascinating to watch it all play out.
Absolutely.
Well, that is all the time we have for today's deep dive. But wow, what a story.
It's a big one.
Huge. huge implications for Ghana and maybe even, as we were saying, for the rest of the world.
Yeah, I think it raises some important questions that we all need to be thinking about.
For sure. So everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What do you think about the situation in Ghana? How would you balance these competing priorities if you were in charge?
Yeah, let us know.
Hit us up on our socials, leave a comment below.
We want to hear your thoughts.